Shanti.
Shasana or prohibition for people. No, for any ailment if you have, please don't go for Shirshasana. Connect with your doctor. For pregnant ladies, no for the ladies in the monthly cycle. Then if you have any ailment above your chest, it is no for that. But Shirshasana definitely prevents ailments which are above your chest, right? So important point about Shirshasana, it will flush the blood flow towards your upper part of the body, and hence you should be very careful. Caution is you cannot do mistake in Shirshasana. You have to be slowly but perfect, because you can do only once. Any mistake is there, it will lead to disaster. So it is a dangerous asana, right? But over the period of time, I'm sure you will master it. It took almost 2 years for me even to go into Shirshasana. So 2005 I started it, and I think 2007 or 8 something I could do Shirshasana. But definitely today also, whenever we go to Shirshasana, we should take care of that. So another important point about our condition of our stomach in Shirshasana, there should not be any liquid taken, or if you have taken any liquid, you should actually empty that. So you should have gone to washroom, and then only you should do the Shirshasana, that too after 25-30 minutes. But you should not take too much of liquid, otherwise if the liquid is inside your gut, then it will cause a problem. No doubt that when you do Shirshasana, the whole weight actually it appears on crown. So the complete blood flow is towards your head, and the activity in head as well as your arms, your shoulders, they are heavily loaded. So be careful. If you have any shoulder ailments, don't perform Shirshasana. Shirshasana, everybody would like to definitely go for Shirshasana, I know, but for that you should not have any blood pressure, should not have any element of hole in the tympanum. That's a curtain between your eustachian tube and your throat. So there should not be any ear ailment, or there should not be any disease of nose, otherwise it will aggravate. So for this, there are some preparatory asanas are there, which I will show you. So this preparatory asana, first of all, when you do Shirshasana, you should not do it at the start of your yogasana. You should do all some asanas, and then first you should do Sukshma Yoga, then some asanas, and then Shirshasana. So let's go for quickly for those asanas which you should do before Shirshasana. So first, very important asana is Parvatasana. So let's go into Parvatasana. So for Parvatasana, what you could do, that you be in Vajrasana first, come forward very slowly, rest the back portion, your head, bring it between your hands, be in an inverted V, try to touch the heels to the ground, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Your chitta, your man, your mind should be stable at the top portion, which is facing the sky. Parvatasana. Then go to a plank stage where you have the whole weight is on your arms and shoulders. So planks little bit, and then slowly raise your back so that you have a huge pressure on your shoulder. Bring your head very near to the ground and observe the pressure on your shoulder. So here 5 to 10 times you can breathe in and breathe out and observe the pressure on the shoulder. It's a huge pressure on the shoulder. Come back and relax. Relaxing Vajrasana. This is the second asana which is to be performed before Shirshasana. 80 to 90% of the effect of Shirshasana is given by Sarvangasana. So my request is that to acclimatize or to get the same type of blood flow to your head, you should also perform Sarvangasana, and before that Viparita Karni. So let's perform a Sarvangasana. So lie down. First Uttana Padasana. Be there in the Uttana Padasana. Viparita Karni, so that you will have a pressure on your back, and then slowly Sarvangasana. So you have a pressure of complete blood flow in your head. Sarvangasana. Slowly go back to Halasana. Viparita Karni. Uttana Padasana. And relax. So Sarvangasana is also important to simulate the condition of blood flow. That is the second one. The third one is Kandarasana, to take care of your back waist muscles. Because in Shirshasana you will find that if by chance you get a jerk, your waist muscles will be stretched too much. So there should not be any injury to your waist muscles. So let's do Kandarasana. Fold your legs. Hold the ankles. Slowly protrude your tummy. You can also raise your heels. Hold it. The tummy should be protruded as if you have a big tummy. Be there so that you have a stretch at your back, and then slowly come back, relax. And after that you can start the preparation of Shirshasana. So again, Shirshasana is in different stages. So first stage, over the period of time you will learn that be safe. If you by chance get moved or get inverted and just fall on the other side, you should be able to land. But do not try it, because over the period of time when our aging occurs, the plasticity of muscles is there, and if there is any injury to the muscles or to the neuron, it is heavily problematic. So first you can try to be in a plank pose, and slowly what you can do, you can also keep your legs here this way and practice it so that the pressure you can handle on your hands. You can touch your head here and then come back again. Then you can hold your both the hands locked together, and what you can do, touch your upper portion of your head, and then similarly you can have a L shape this way, L shape of your body, and be there, so that you can hold your complete half of the weight of the body on your crown and more weight on your hands. So be there for some time. Breathe in and breathe out. I know there can be a mistake that it may not be L-shaped sometimes. It may be much more above. That also you can try. That is a third step. And further, when you do actual Shirshasana, what you can do first, so just near to the wall, you can be there, very near to the wall, so that you will feel secured. Because when you fall down, you will fall down on your legs and you will never fall down on the other side. So when you fall down, very important point here is that you should land on your toes and not on your knees. If you land on your knees, you will have the injury to the ligaments and knees. Very, very important point. So let's try this one. So let's touch our hands very near to the wall and then be like this, almost a half Parvatasana. Now your knees should be straight. Slowly walk towards your face and try to be in a position where inverted head and Parvatasana touching. There should be a triangle between your hands and your head. What you can do without jerk, you can try to lift yourself, but you may not able to lift it eventually. Don't jerk like this, don't jerk. What you can do, press your locked hands to the wall and very slowly walk towards the wall. You will be automatically lifted this way. So press, walk slowly, and you can also lift one leg and then another leg. Take the support of your wall. Okay, and you can raise your legs easily. So for some days, be like this. While landing, you should land one leg at a time. Never land this way. If you land this way, I have seen people huge injury. That is the fourth step. So practice this for some days. And after that, there is a fifth step where you can take a little bit distance from the wall. Little bit distance. So for example, I can take a distance of around 9 inches, because when you will get inverted, your legs are enough capable of holding the wall or taking the support of the wall. So just 9 inches away from the wall and very slowly again walking, and if I fall down, I can take the support of wall. This way I can take the support of wall. Okay, so for some days you can do this way and try to balance it this way. And if you fall down, land on your toes. This way, fall down. Oh, so this way you can land on your toes, right? So now the final step. The final stage is that be away from the wall around 1 feet, more than 1 feet. Now here you can still take the support of wall. I'll show you how. You can fold your legs on the other side and still you can balance yourself. So this way, I'll not take the support of the wall first. So if you try to fall, you can still have the support of the wall, and then you can try this way up, but still if you fall, take the support. Again raise your legs, take the support. Raise legs, take the support. And then if you fall on the other side, again you can land yourself very easily on your toes. So it becomes a win-win situation. So here again in Shirshasana, you can be in Dhyan, you can meditate. It's very good to meditate Shirshasana. You will forget almost everything. Try to recall the thoughts in Shirshasana. Any thought, any worry, you will find that you won't have any worry or any thoughts. Further, definitely you can try various other exercises in Shirshasana. You can also have the Padmasana in Shirshasana. You can also have the lifting your head, and many things are there in Shirshasana. You can try, but try it after your lot of preparation. Slowly land yourself with the toes, and after the Shirshasana, always go for the Shashankasana, or you can also go for the Namat position, that is the Mandukasana. Be in Mandukasana or Shashankasana for some time. Take a deep breathe out. Come back with a deep breath in, and you will find that your whole upper portion is very well rejuvenated. Right? So after the Shirshasana, be stand still for some time, and then you can perform your other asanas. Thank you so much.